Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans? No! You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Hey, dude, as I walk in there, my brother's around, and I end up kissing my own brother. And then all of a sudden, he fucking dies right on the fucking floor of exhaustion of masturbation.
That's really a weird thing to write in someone's birthday card.
I know, it was and the fucked up thing about the birthday card, it was happy anniversary.
And happy welcome to
Punk ass.
and Random Heroes Cheeky Shenanigans.
Cheeky what?
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans what?
Cheeky
You love guys what?
butts.
Cheeky Shenanigans. Welcome everyone to this fantastic second 2.5 episode, because the last time we did one, the audio was fucked up as usual.
This time it was not my fault, though, which I was happy about.
And we're sponsored by all the glorious Corona masks that Jesse is wearing.
Yeah, this is the coronavirus special.
I don't know. We bought all the masks so nobody can use them because it's pointless to wear them anyways.
Actually, I got this one for free at the doctor's office.
Yeah, what happens if the doctor office runs out? What happens if they run out of butt thermometers? How are they going to check people's temperatures? You know?
I don't know, but I don't know how people wear these around in public all the time. I can barely keep it on for a minute or two, and it gets really hot and kind of sweaty. Yeah.
You know who wears them all the time?
Oh, now you're infected. What?
You know who wears them all the time?
Who?
The Asians.
The
hear,
Asians.
You should hear what he talks about the Chinese.
So,
Showing.
yeah, we did actually do another episode last week that Nick wasn't recording the audio for.
Something happened, and that was our funny episode with these little fucking bastards.
Oh, this was the worst. I don't know where my box went, but
These little nitro gummy bears, dude.
9 million on the Scoville scale, and Nick thought it would be a great idea to have both of us try one, even though I have tasted marinara sauce that was too spicy for me.
And you little ball lickers under your little comments saying, "Oh, I can eat it, no problem." No, you fucking can't. You might be able to chew it and get it down right away, but that aftermath will fudge you up.
It's weird, too. Like, it's not that I would say it really even had flavor. It was just...
Yeah, there's no flavor. It's just the heat.
And it wasn't even, like, hot heat or anything. Like, it feels different than if you eat a regular pepper. It was just... It was like if you got tattooed all over the inside of your mouth.
If a ninja get an attitude, pop them like it's hot. Pop them like it's hot.
So we did that challenge. I believe you still put up the video for it, right?
I did. It's a silent challenge with some subtitles every once in a while. And it seemed to come out okay because our reactions are lovely. Lovely. Okay, dude, check
Nick
this out.
actually spit his out from over there, way over to that side of the room.
Check this out. Check this out. Who am I? Okay? You ready?
You are a weird, creepy priest dude who is tickling some balls. Okay. So if it was down like this, you're a kid who's petting two puppies at the same time.
Fuck. You know what's fucked up about this right now?
What?
I forgot the dude's name.
Ray Charles.
Is it Ray Charles? Or is it
If
Ray
you're-
something?
If you're trying to imitate the blind piano player, then yes, it's Ray Charles.
The blind black piano player, mind you.
Oh, sorry, I don't really see the color of people's skin.
And then he goes like this.
No, he doesn't.
Well,
and then he goes...
How's he going to know, dude? He's blind. He doesn't know what's in front of him. He thinks it's grapes or an apple. Maybe a banana. All right, so, in all fairness, last episode sucked. We got a new one, special guest because of me, because I'm fantastic. What's her name again? Just
Sierra.
Kidding. Her name's Sierra, and she's a professional rock climber, and she loves to do other stuff that we learned about.
Yeah, and I would even call her an influencer because she has like almost 200,000 followers on Instagram.
What?
Do you not like to hear people talk? You
jump
in right in the middle.
I do this all the time, right? But I have to do it because then I'll lose my thought and then I'll forget. So when it pops at me, I gotta tell you, okay? What is an influencer? Like they say YouTube influencer or Instagram influencer. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Basically a person with a lot of followers. So like I assume this is where the phrase comes from, but if someone like that suddenly says, I only play Xbox and not PlayStation, for example, their followers are likely going to do things to emulate that, or at least that's the mindset behind why people give influencers such like a platform, you know,
Right.
because they have an audience. And
But what are they influencing though? Like, why wouldn't it be like a follower or like a
I think they
a
call
Christian?
I think they went with influencer instead of just like fans because they feel real, because they all are real people. Like, you don't call celebrities influencers. They are also influencers, but
They're celebrities.
influencers aren't celebrities outside of that. But whatever they do can influence things. You know, like if Sierra, who we do this interview with, if she was to come out in favor of a political candidate for president, a lot of her audience is probably going to
Be women.
well, no, but they could either say, oh, I want to be like her and vote like that, or oh, I agree with her and vote like that, or maybe it's just that she has access to a bunch of people who already think like her.
Kind of like, I'm going to say this because it was enjoyable. I watched the Taylor Swift documentary on Netflix.
Oh, really? What's that all about?
It's just about her lifestyle from beginning to when Kanye West jumped up at the stage and was
I
like,
remember
oh, yeah,
that.
fucking Beyonce. And she's like, I don't know what to say now. And
As far as douchebag moves go, that's got to be the number one all time.
It was kind of fucked up. Beyonce was probably like, yeah, motherfucker.
Beyonce was probably sitting in the crowd like, why is he saying my name right now?
Yeah,
Fuck
but
Kanye, come on.
But then she's like deep down, yeah, fuck, Kanye's got our back. We gotta stick together. Anyways, so then to carry on, it just follows her on tour, and then it follows how like she would always care about what she looked like in pictures, so she would always watch what she eats or she would throw up, and then eventually she got tired of that and she found a different way. And then there's a point in time where they were voting. I think it was during the last. I think it was voting for Senate or something. She lives in Nashville. There was a woman senator that wanted to like get rid of abortion or something like that. Abortion's illegal and stuff. She didn't agree with it. So the first time ever, she posted about who she was voting for and asked all of her followers to vote with her the same thing. So would that be like an influencer as well?
Yes.
Like, since she's a celebrity, using her status to influence people's votes.
Yeah, but I think the thing that differentiates a Taylor Swift from someone like Sierra is that Sierra wasn't famous outside of whatever got her start, Instagram or YouTube or however, whatever one came first. She built up her own audience, and I would say that that's more impressive because while Taylor Swift is talented and a lot of people love her, she had the full support of the record industry behind her when she broke out, and she became massive because of that. All these influencers, whatever you want to think about that word and the douchier versions of it that exist out there, there are still people who built this entire audience themselves from the ground up.
So, Donald Trump, celebrity or influencer?
Douchebag.
Douchebag. You hear
But
it,
also
everyone.
celebrity. Because he's famous outside of that. Now, there's a guy that I follow who's from Hawaii. His Instagram tag is Broke the Clout. He's got tons of
Interesting.
followers. And he usually posts like really funny stuff, and he posts some workout things. But I think that he's one of the first ones that I know of who's kind of making the leap from influencer to celebrity, because
Right.
people are starting to like buy his merch and send him photos in it and stuff. So I think that there is probably a point where you could jump from influencer to actual celebrity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Dude, we should start like a company, right? We should start like a clothing brand, like Ass Grabber.
Dude, we have like no subscribers on our current YouTube channel. How would
Yes.
we do that?
But we have more subscribers on our Facebook channel and
Right.
Instagram.
But we're nowhere near what would be considered an influencer. I think once we learn this, then we could do other
I
shit.
think it's because YouTube. I don't know why. Like, me personally, I like watching videos and stuff more on Facebook now as well. I don't like going to YouTube. I go to YouTube when I like need to look something up. I go for entertainment for like Facebook and Instagram now.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that fits perfectly is YouTube considers itself a search engine.
Yeah, so I mean, when you need to fix your car, learn something about your house, or if you have herpes and you're not really sure, you look that up as well. How to fucking, get babies born, you can look that up. How to make love to yourself, you can look that up as well. And then
These are all questions that can be answered on Pornhub also.
And if you want to look up a different type of bird, you can do that. If you want to look up your gender, you can look that up as well. And then if you want to look up the most famous douchey asshole, you put in Jesse's name and his face pops up.
That's correct.
And that,
Here's a question. So not only does all that sound like the same things you can learn in porn.
Yeah.
But have you ever dated a girl who like had a problem with porn or didn't like it, or maybe one who loved it too much or anything?
All of them.
All of them what?
All of them had a problem with me watching porn.
All of them did?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they look at it as you're looking at someone else, why are you looking at them? You know what I mean? You're checking out someone else's goods and not looking at my goods. They would say it's kind of like cheating, but you're not cheating.
And I suppose I can understand that, but the thing that I would say that most of those people don't understand about when guys look at porn is that we're not into that girl at all. We don't respect that girl at all. We don't like that girl at all.
I've said that as well.
Yeah, we're just seeing them do something that triggers some visual reactions and
it's
makes
just
it easy
a visual tool to get us to do our deed that we need to do.
Right. And I'll take it a step further.
Yeah.
When you're really into a woman, you sometimes can do that thinking of her too, or looking at her pictures too.
Now, if I had a porn that I made with somebody, with my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something,
Yeah.
I would use that.
Would you?
I would, because it's actually me doing it. I'd be like, yeah, I was fucking there. Yeah, I'm fucking railing her, dude. You're so good, but
So
that's
nailing her, man.
Yeah, dude,
Oh, I
you get
was
it.
in there.
You get it. You smack her up good.
Like Nikki doesn't care that I watch porn, but obviously I wouldn't do it around her because she's of the mindset like, well, if you want to do that, why don't we just have sex? Like, if she's there, which is great. But like to have a problem with it if someone's not around, and then I can understand why they might think that way, but I don't think they realize that once a guy's done watching porn and doing what he has to do with it, we completely forget that the people in that video ever existed until the next time we need to jack it.
Just jack it. Take off your pants and
There's
jack it.
There's no nothing. We don't get anything out of those videos that we wouldn't rather have from you.
Do you think every guy, when their wife, girlfriend, or spouse or mistress walks out that door, they're like, oh, yes, I can get a quick porn stiffy out right now. And then she secretly comes back in. How could you?
Like, comes in and catches you watching porn?
Yeah, whacking it.
I'm sure that's happened.
I know, that'd be hilarious.
But, like, I can't think there's ever been a time when I would rather watch porn than
Not watch porn?
No, than, like, do the real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's one problem that some people have had is, like, they'll have dated guys who will be in bed with them and still would rather jack off than actually, like, have sex.
Yeah, I've never had that
weirds
problem.
me out.
Yeah, I've never had that issue.
No, and
You need a tissue?
I don't know. It's there was no real reason I brought that up. It's not a conversation I've had in a long time or anything, but it's something weird because porn is one of those things that everybody has a slightly different view of.
It's an affliction of two realities. One, bad reality. Two, good tool using reality. But we can never get it to merge together as one. So you know what you do?
What?
You don't tell them and you just do it.
Oh, I admit to it. I mean, if I've done that or if she asks or something, like, yeah, I'm not going to lie about it. I think that would be way worse. But I know that there's people out there who have to.
Yeah.
Or choose to.
Well, yeah, if you're a lonely guy.
No. I mean, there's people out there who lie about it.
Oh, yeah, I don't lie about it at all. Obviously. Every episode.
I mean, how could you really conceal it? If you were to roll up your sleeves right now, your right arm would be like, and your left arm would be like, meow. That's Nick. You are right-handed, right?
Yes.
Okay, then that's correct.
Yeah, it is correct.
Aaron's left-handed.
Yeah, well.
But his left arm never looks any bigger, so I think he takes turns.
I think it's just because he biatch.
An ambi boner.
What's an ambi boner?
When you can
Is
use
boner?
either hand. Like,
Boner. Like, who came up with boner? Boner.
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
Boner.
That word will never not be funny.
Purple-headed yogurt slinger.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Pedro.
What is the worst or most embarrassing place or time you have ever gotten a boner? Like, were you at school at the front of the class giving the project or whatever?
In the back of the fucking car when me and my family are like on a, like when we're like moving or like on a vacation trip.
How old were you?
Like, I don't know, like 11, 12, 13, you know, back then you just get a boner and you're like, fuck. I would just go away if I could just get it done real quick, but I can't. So now I got to put a pillow over my pants.
Let's get rid of all the awkward teenage years and let's go with adult life. What is like the most embarrassing or worst time you've had a boner?
Probably work. Yep, work.
Like, and you have to walk around and it's just
I have to like maneuver it and put it, I have to flip it up by the belt.
Up into the belt, yeah.
Waistline and just act like nothing's happening.
And then you got to hope that like your shirt doesn't suddenly fly up.
You have to secretly do it too. So I look before I try to maneuver anything because I don't want to know, oh, what's he doing? Sexual harassment.
And that's such a weird thing. I mean.
And speaking of boners, how was our guest? Our guest is pretty good, right?
Could you have segued it any worse than
that was really... the only reason why I said boner was because rock climbing. So I wanted to take boner and boulder and try to merge it into one. Not because she was a girl, just because of the rock climbing aspect.
Really digging yourself into a hole right now.
It's too late anyways, but that was pretty cool.
And I'll give you some credit. In this interview that you guys are about to see, you actually are, for the most part, pretty, like...
I told you I could be pretty fucking decent, guys.
Yeah, you checked all the sexism at the door for the most part, and I was pretty proud of you.
Yeah, see, I'm good. I know my vibes. I'm a chameleon in the communities. I can fit anywhere.
So I give off a vibe to where you can just be racist and sexist all the time and gross and say the R word and...
Yeah, because you're like a hetero life mate. I got a couple of those. I got a couple stash. I stash them. I stash them around.
Oh, well, shall we get to the interview?
Yes, let's get to the interview, guys, because you're going to fucking love this one. It's entertaining and learnable. I didn't know a different word besides learnable.
Definitely different than the guests we've had on, not only because it's another video interview like we did with Christian Finnegan, but the whole thing's like an interview in this case. Like, a lot of our in-studio guests weren't interviews. They were just guests on the show. Yeah. This one's like a full-on interview. And it seems like we got into some pretty interesting areas a few times, and she couldn't have been, nicer and more accommodating to do the show for us. So.
I'm gonna try to do this lately. I'm just randomly choosing people that I see that are like athletes or comedians, actresses, musicians, whatever, and I'm asking them if they want to do it. That's what I did in this one. We knew nothing about her. Just little updates here and there that we read, and then we asked her questions.
Yeah, and it turns out that, she's been on, like, national teams for the World Cup of Climbing and some really cool stuff that we'll get into. She teaches me a lot about the sport, and it was just nice to have a kind of another perspective of someone who, isn't swearing all the time, doesn't go out and party a whole lot. Like, she was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very wholesome.
Genuine?
That's genuine also, but
genuine.
I would say wholesome. This is an interview.
Would humble be a good word?
She did seem humble, yeah.
Okay.
But this is an interview that I think you could watch with your kids, which would probably surprise you.
Which is fucking weird.
Because you wouldn't want them to see anything else on the show.
But I did have my stupid, awkward puns every now and then.
Yeah. And if you are listening to all of this with your kid already and they had to hear the porn thing. Yeah. Maybe reevaluate your choices in parenting.
Yeah, adopt your kid out. Give it away.
Give it away. Give it away now.
Give it away at the fire station. Fire station. Fire station.
So,
have
yourself
a
Merry
Christmas.
Boy.
All right, Jesse, take it away.
All right, I was just going to say, why don't we get on into the interview here with Sierra?
And here you guys go. Are ready? 1, 2.
Introduce her since this is your guest, Nick.
Well, that's right.
It's right.
That's right. Hello, everyone. I'm Punk Ass here, and we have a new special guest. And her name is...
I'm here every week, dude.
Yeah, well, you don't count. Anyways, we have Sierra. I found her on Facebook by watching one of her rock climbing videos, and I just hit her up on Messenger hoping she would respond back, and she did.
And here you are. That's amazing.
And now she's here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you really had nothing better to do?
No, I'm pretty boring, man, so this seems like a better way to spend my Friday night than just doing literally nothing.
Well, I mean, I've been checking out your Instagram since we booked you, and it doesn't really look like your life's all that boring.
No, it is pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. I get to go on a lot of fun adventures, but everything's on hold right now because of the coronavirus. So
Yeah, how is it down
just
there?
waiting
Up
it
here in
out.
Washington, they're like quarantine everything.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's quarantined as far as I know, but I think the panic kind of started to hit today. Like the grocery stores are getting pretty empty, and I don't know. It's really, really weird to see.
Did you get any toilet paper?
No, I think we're okay here, but we're not toilet paper stockpilers, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that you might want to stock up on some food and all that, but I never understood why everyone rushes for the teepee.
I don't understand it either. It's weird.
That's so weird.
Now, do you get paid for what you do in general? Like
Yeah,
rock climbing? You do?
I do.
Are you
How does
like
that work?
sponsored, I guess, maybe?
I am. Yeah, sponsorship is my main form of income.
And so, like, you've done a lot of great stuff with rock climbing. You were on the U.S. competitive team was that for the Olympics that I read?
Or
No, so I was on like the U.S. bouldering team,
Mhm.
and anyone who does the Olympics, like they compete in all three.
Okay.
It's just a little different than like normal, like goes in competition. The best way to explain it. This is not like.
Gotcha. And like, how did you take it from I enjoy doing this to like, oh, this is something I want to do as a career? Because I didn't know that there was such thing as a career in rock climbing. But
yeah, I thought it was
it's
like
cool
a
to see.
hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird when I started a rock climber, but that was me in anything. Like if I had been soccer, I would have wanted to be a professional soccer player or, anything non-sporting as well. But just as I started climbing and getting better, it was like always my goal. And then it started to actually happen.
That's amazing. We don't get to do anything that we enjoy for money.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
We don't make any money for that.
Or this show.
Yeah, or the show.
But so I've been curious since I read that there was like a pro team for this stuff. How, if you're going to go to a bouldering competition, how do they score it? How do you know who won or lost? Is it like a race or?
That's a good question because the format can change for each competition.
Okay.
But like the standard one, I would say is like World Cup format. So you'll have 4 boulders and each boulder is scored on 2 points. There's kind of a halfway point called the zone. And then the finish is called the top. So they score it they go by whoever has the most tops. And then if people are tied, then they go whoever has the most zones. And then if that's tied, whoever has the most attempts to top, and then whoever has the most attempts to zone.
Wow.
I would have thought it would just be like the race to the top and then like hit the bell. And then it's over.
Like American Ninja
Yeah,
Warrior.
I mean, sometimes it is that.
Have you ever thought about trying out for that show? Because it seems like your skill set would be perfect for that.
Oh, I mean, I think it would be fun, but honestly, everyone who does it is so good, I'd actually have to train for it. And I just don't have the time or the energy.
So does that mean you have to like work out every day and have like a certain diet type stuff?
I mean, for climbing, everyone does it differently. I usually climb about 5 days a week. Some people do more, some people do less. Some people eat really well, some people don't eat really well. It's kind of what works best for everyone. It's a bit wild.
I have tried rock climbing in like an indoor type deal.
Yeah.
And I know there's this thing where you can strap yourself onto, and then when you get to the top, you can let go, and it just slowly drops you down. I don't know what that's called.
The harness?
Auto belay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyways, I would still be scared, and I wouldn't want to drop down, so I still have to climb down, even though it's already there. You know?
That's like every little kid the first time they try
it. I don't.
Please feel free to belittle him as much as possible. But I'm curious, like if things are not coronavirus-y out there, what is like a common day or week for you, like in, the profession that you're in?
I mean, on a normal week when I'm home, I basically wake up, I have like a 2-hour training session in the morning, and then I take a nap, eat lunch, whatever, then like probably a 3-hour training session in the afternoon, come home, eat dinner, sleep, do it all over again. And then on my rest days, I really try and rest. That's very important to me. I try and not like run errands or anything. I really value my downtime.
So do you watch Netflix a lot?
Oh my God, all the time. A couple weeks ago, I watched 3 seasons of Big Mouth in 1 week because my friend was in town. So yeah, it was great.
That's a good show to watch.
Yeah, what's some of your favorite entertainment out there? Like, TV shows, movies, that kind of stuff?
Oof. Okay, so obviously a Big Mouth fan.
Yeah.
I really like Ozark, so I'm excited that that's
the
coming
new
back.
season is coming on this month.
It's going to be so good.
I know.
I like Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
I tried to get into that one. I couldn't get into it.
I haven't seen it yet, but that's on my to-watch list.
It's good. Like, if you like it, it's really good. But I definitely could see why people might not get into it as well.
Is it like it's kind of like CSI, right? Sort of, maybe?
Yeah. It's like how they started the psychological profiling for serial killers. Yeah.
Oh, that does sound pretty interesting, actually. So are you really into like the serial killer stuff, like when the Ted Bundy documentary came out and all that?
Well, that was a good one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm such a creep. Ever since I was little, I was like always into like murder and like learning about it. And then big fan of the My Favorite Murder podcast. And yeah, I'm definitely into the true crime.
Now, I'm going to ask this because a lot of girls said Ted Bundy was attractive. Now, did you think he was attractive also watching the documentary?
I actually didn't, but I thought Zac Efron did a really great job.
Yeah, in the movie. The one with
Oh,
Zac Efron.
yeah. That movie was weird for me because I thought it would be a little more focused on the crime part, but it was kind of like a relationship movie. It felt like.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people didn't like that. I think it was just a different take on him, so it was interesting to see.
Well, I like the ending where he wrote how he killed that lady at the end on the thing for his wife, so she had clarity.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
No,
that was such a powerful scene.
Yeah, I think he wrote Saw, right? Didn't he? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And that's, how do I want to phrase this? He's got kind of an attachment in this area too, like the Green River Killer. It seems like people tend to pay more attention to the local celebrities, even if they're bad ones. Like, are you a fan of all of that stuff? Like how they got caught, or what intrigues you about all that?
I don't. Oh, it's so interesting.
He asks tough questions.
Yeah,
he does.
I know. No, that's like so good. I'm like, what do I even like about this? Why is it so fascinating? I think it's cool to hear about how they end up getting caught too. What mistakes they made or what breakthrough came in through like science or just someone being a good detective or investigator.
Yeah.
And then of course, when there are like our survivors, hearing how they, fought their way out or whatever happened, that's always like so amazing when you hear that.
Yeah. And sometimes I've noticed when I'm watching them, at least, you'll catch yourself like you're watching and then the killer does something stupid that gets to them being caught. And then you find yourself going, well, that's not what I would have done. He would have got away with it and then you go, wait, I'm not supposed to be rooting for this guy.
Yeah. You're like, what's wrong with me?
What was your favorite music genre growing up?
I think I was just always kind of into, like top 40 stuff, whatever was popular. I mean, now like I like top 40, but I love chill music, mainly
what
Chill Nation on
music?
YouTube.
Like reggae? Like maybe chill?
Yeah, not really.
No.
Just Chill Nation on YouTube. It'll like send you in the right direction.
Okay.
Huh.
Like, is that like a playlist that's on there or a band or?
It's just like a YouTube channel, basically.
Right.
And
if you had to choose between NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, which one would you choose?
I feel like I liked NSYNC better, like the people who were in it, but I like the Backstreet Boys music better.
Oh, well, that's good because
I think it was Justin Timberlake that got me,
that's
always
fair.
Justin.
Well, Mick here, his last name happens to be Carter, so he was actually in the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I got made fun of a lot. I still do. Oh yeah, you even bought me
the Nick Carter pop.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Do you ever read the comments on your videos sometimes? I was reading through the one video you did where you're twisting your knee or however you were maneuvering, and everyone was like, oh, I can't believe she didn't break her knee and stuff like that. And then one stuck out to me Of course, it was a guy. He was like, I'm only watching this because she was wearing short shorts. I thought it was funny, but do you ever like read those?
Yeah. I don't know. Some days I do and some days I don't.
I didn't see like any negative ones in there, but I didn't read them all. But is that what you worry about sometimes?
I feel like I've just had a lot of negative comments said about me at this point, just over time,
Oh, okay.
So there's not like much that rattles me anymore. I'm like, whatever, I'm like, you're being weird.
Well, I mean, you've got a substantial following, at least on Instagram, from what I saw. That's got to be kind of an aspect of your daily life, as far as I'm sure at times it feels like a career in itself, maybe. Like, how has that kind of attention been?
I mean, ultimately, I think it's led to better opportunities, which is always good. But yeah, I think sometimes it's hard because you're always trying to be interesting. And then especially since like Instagram stories came out, you're like, oh man, I have to like find things to take videos of today or pictures of. And yeah. I'm like, do you guys want to see me like sitting in bed again?
For the third day in a row.
Yeah.
Well, and like, do you have to post stuff every day to kind of keep your audience up, or do you ever take breaks from all that?
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes I'll take like a day break if I feel like I need to. But yeah, usually I post like every day, probably like 5 out of 7 days a week. I'll miss a day here and there.
Wow.
Do you have to do that to like make money as well? Do you have to like keep updating your social media accounts, I guess, every day?
And some of my content I have scenes and then some.
I lost audio.
Did you?
Yeah, I lost it for a section as well.
We're still ironing out some of the kinks on that.
All right. And then another thing I wanted to ask was, I read that you went to Arizona State University, correct?
I did.
Now, I've heard the rumors that school is just a school to go party at. Is that true?
I didn't go to a single party when I was there. I lived at home.
Oh, you did?
But yeah.
Wow. But I'm sure that was probably part of the culture and the just going to school sometimes. Like, is that just not really your scene? Or?
Yeah, it's just not really my scene. I'm in bed by like 10 p.m. So.
Oh, wow. We are too.
Yeah, but we're old.
Nice, Paul. I'm 31.
Okay, I'm old.
There you go. Yeah.
36
you're 26, right? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not creepy that you know that at all.
Well, I was doing all my information before. I didn't want to be like, I don't know anything about you.
So, it says that you get to travel a lot. What are some of the best places you've gone to travel to that you would recommend or have a good story from or something?
Ooh, okay. I mean, Iceland is my favorite place in the world. I think that is a big recommendation. And I went for the first time before it was cool to go to Iceland. So I like to brag about that.
I didn't know it was ever cool. I would love to go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. Also, I went to Moscow for a competition when we were under like a level 3 travel advisory in 2018. Ooh. So it was literally not a big deal and no one cared that we were American at all. But it was just kind of cool to like see the forbidden fruit, And also just, Moscow is like very cool.
Have you ever been to China?
I have been to China a few times, yeah.
Man, you've been everywhere. Okay, let's name some more. Have you been to Australia?
Nope, that's one of the ones I want to hit.
I know. I've always wanted to go there too, but
finally somewhere I can beat her to. So it's cool that you got to go during the travel ban and all that, but like once you got to the destination, is there one that's like just more beautiful than the rest, or just more fun, or something like that?
Iceland for more beautiful than the rest. I've never been to a more beautiful place.
Wow.
Okay, what's the most crappiest place you've been to?
Oh gosh, that's. I think. Let's see. So in China, one of the competitions I went to was in like a total ghost town, like a city they built that no one lives in. And so it just feels very apocalyptic. And like you're at your hotel and the only place to eat in this entire city is at the hotel. And it's a buffet that serves the same food, every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And and the hotel didn't have air conditioning in like the middle of June in China. So I don't know, like there's so many good stories from that, but yeah, just feeling so isolated it's weird. It's very weird.
So have you been like around areas where like they don't really have toilets and they have toilets like in the floors? Have you had to deal with that? Well,
Yep, in China, the squatters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and avoid them at all costs.
That just seems like so unsanitary.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately for women, they usually have to sit down when they go to the bathroom anywhere anyway. So it always probably feels a little less sanitary than it does for a guy who can just stand there and do his thing.
Yeah. The other thing that's weird about the squatters is they like clean the bathrooms by like hosing down the floor basically. So the floor is always just like wet, you know? It's really gross.
I've heard stories where you have to bring your own toilet paper as well. They don't have any sometimes. Right?
That is very true.
Yeah.
Well, that's happening here now.
Yeah, that's happening here now.
Yeah.
When I came over to do the podcast, Nick told me I had to bring my own toilet paper.
Sorry, dude. I'm honestly, I only have like a half a roll left. I'm going to be screwed when I actually need it.
You have to ration.
Yeah. I thought about buying a bidet. But don't have to worry about it.
So let's circle back to that because it's kind of been the big thing in the news. If you were going to go and you had to get a couple things to like last you for a while because of the virus, what are like the top 3 things you would have to have at all times?
Yeah, let's say 30 days.
Oh, 30 days. Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I'm trying to think of like practical items.
Doesn't have to be.
Maybe your phone.
Oh, it doesn't have to be.
Well, she's
I'm
not
a
going to
eater.
go buy her phone.
Oh, that's true.
Want to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe a water bottle. Gotta have that. And then I guess my cats, I don't know. They're not really like objects, so I don't know if they count as that. But, you know, have to bring them around.
That's fair. And, you know, it's funny because like I feel, in some ways, I feel almost like a different species because you're so active and seem to be pretty, you know, you live clean and positive and all that stuff. And I'm very much the opposite of most things. Do you have like a vice or something that you sometimes don't like to tell people about, but not too personal? But like, is there that one thing where you're like, that's my weakness? You know, like some kind of snack or whatever.
Like cereal.
It's not like a super duper weakness, and it's not. I love playing The Sims, but I have to like ration myself because I could just play it like all the time. Like a couple of nights a week, I'm like, you can play The Sims. It's okay.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that. Nick, what's yours?
Right now, playing Call of Duty.
Well, it doesn't have to be a video game.
Yeah, but that's what it is right now.
All right. That's fair.
What is yours?
I guess if we're on the subject, I have a game on my phone right now. I've been playing a lot.
Is it Pokemon Go?
No.
Okay.
No. Do I look like I get a lot of exercise?
No, you do not.
Oh, man, this is cool. We've only had one other video guest like this before, and that was
Christian Finnegan,
yeah, a big comedian that I grew up kind of a fan of. So do you get approached to do shows like this often or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
I would say I do like a. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do a decent amount of interviews. I think I have like 2 coming up in the next week or so.
Okay.
So, yeah, I get to do them a lot.
Oh.
Like, are some of them other YouTubers or just like other podcasts or even actual news networks or anything?
It's a lot of podcasts, honestly. I mean, I feel like at this point I've done something for everything. This is definitely the first one, not just asking me all about like the typical climbing questions everyone asks though. So it's very refreshing.
Well, we like to try to keep it like a comedy podcast, and we want to try to ask you questions that like no one else has, because I know it gets boring.
Well, like in our show, we always, when we have a guest in studio, we don't even really interview them all the time. Like, we'll just try and plug them into the conversation. Yeah. But with someone like yourself, I didn't know you existed until a couple of days ago. So there's kind of some baseline questions, but the regular questions kind of bore me. So it's like, let's ask her some curveballs.
Well, yeah, here's a curveball. Yeah. What's like the worst pickup line a guy's ever told you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one that I have a hard time answering because I just get so many weird ones. But
like, I'm sure you get a lot of messages, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots. Yeah, someone sent me a dick pic this morning, so
There
that
it
happened
is.
today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to shame that person, you could call them out on our show.
Like, you would do that.
I
though.
wish
It's
I
so
even remembered their
crazy.
name. It's like I get so many weird messages that it's just like in one ear out the other, you know?
Like, as a girl, does that ever actually work? Like,
Are you asking me?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Like,
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's just you're a creep if you do that, you know?
yeah. All right, so back to the pickup lines. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be online. Like, has someone come up to you in a bar and had a creative pickup line or something like that?
Well, no, I think I give a pretty good standoffish vibe when I'm out. People don't approach me a lot, so
Okay.
Intimidated, maybe?
Yeah.
Little resting bitch face, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't see it now because you've been so genuinely nice this entire time that kind of surprises me a little bit.
Oh, thanks. I think I can just tell when people are going to try and talk to me, and then I try and give the vibe of "Don't you dare come talk to me."
I'm pretty good at it.
You give that vibe off 24/7.
Sorry. Well, not right now. I'm talking.
Well, yeah, because you have to.
Yeah.
Poor Nick here. He's kind of gone through a rough patch the last couple of weeks, and he's had some
Gotcha.
real problems. Maybe went through a breakup. So, do you have any advice for my friend here? At all?
Okay, here's the
Like,
advice. Here's the problem with the advice. Okay, it's been on and off for 7 years. All right.
Okay.
I don't, when couples usually do that, it's always a bad sign, right? Isn't it?
Like if they're on and off again.
I would say so. I'm up to you, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's a decent-looking guy, even if you don't count the rabbit teeth and all that. So, what could Nick maybe do to put himself out there a little more and not just meet the kind of girl that you'd meet in a bar? Like, what's a nice, safe place to go and meet some people?
I've heard Tinder works really well, but I've never used that.
man, I just don't even know.
Yeah, because
Find a
you
place
seem like the
where you get a
type
friend
that's
group.
Yeah.
you seem like the type that's more focused on like your career instead of wanting a relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not super big into dating or looking for a relationship or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure we tried to ask it from a different slant, but I'm sure that people literally just come out and kind of make interviews about your looks or your status all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's not something that happens with a lot of males in the same profession. I've noticed. Like, if two people are promoting a movie, they never ask the guy about what he's wearing or all these things, but then all the woman's questions are about superficial things. Like, do you see that when people are talking to you a lot, even just in your line of work and all that?
Yeah, I think it's a little different in climbing sometimes, but there definitely was a period of time in climbing where wearing shorts to climb, tight athletic shorts for women and or climbing a sport sport was very, very frowned upon. But meanwhile, you'd have men, climbing without their shirts all the time and nothing was being said. So it's a lot of things like that. And then there's some other issues, like women climbing things that, once a woman climbs it for the first time, they say it's easier, it gets downgraded. So there's a lot of stuff like that.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I never would have thought of that. That is, wow. I have a whole new appreciation for how it must be to even just deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that not even just in climbing, but women everywhere, you're just used to dealing with some, baseline of garbage.
Yeah.
So it's shocking to everyone else, but as a female, you're that's just how it is. And I don't mean that in you accept it, but it's just the normal in a bad way.
Here's an interesting topic. My nephew, I'll bring it up now since my nephew asked me about it.
Okay.
How would you feel about there's obviously, transgender people. How would you feel about a guy transitioning into a woman and then wanting to do the rock climbing sport as a woman? Do you think that's fair or not fair?
Oh, good question.
That's a really good question. It's just one of those things that I haven't thought enough about to give a good answer, know?
Well, I mean,
but
honestly, I would
think
think it's not fair.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
Well,
it's like putting LeBron James in the rock climbing tournament. I don't know,
Yeah, and we don't have to get super political, but my boy Nick here is always on the other side of the PC fence whenever he can be.
Other side of the spectrum. I gotta say little puns here and there.
Was that what that was?
Yeah, that was a little pun. No pun. Have you had any bad accidents, like broken a leg, finger, your neck?
I mean, look, knock on wood, I've never broken a bone.
Really?
Yeah. I think the worst thing that's happened to me, and this kind of wasn't even climbing, I jumped off a cliff because I climbed up the cliff, so I was gonna jump back into the water.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I landed wrong. And when I landed, I thought I like broke my back because it hurt so bad. I was like, well, at least there are people in the water, so I won't drown. Like someone will come get me. So that like really messed me up for a while. I actually didn't break anything, just like sprained my entire rib cage and sternum. But
oh my god, how high up was the jump?
55 feet. It was.
Oh man.
Oh, I was traumatized for like years after. I'm still traumatized from it.
And of all these cool things that you've done, aside from almost breaking your back doing that, has there been one that was kind of like a moment when you were just like, yeah, I finally did that one thing that I always wanted to do, or something like that, like a big goal that you really achieved?
Like you finally went skateboarding for the first time in your life, or
or something better than that, please.
Yeah. In 2018, I won my first professional competition. So even though I had been a pro for forever, I'd never won a pro comp. And yeah, I hadn't given up on the dream, I would say, but I was in the state where I was like, I'm really proud of my career as a pro. If I never win I'd like to, but I'm still like very proud of myself. And then I won a comp and I was like, hey, it was really cool to do it for me.
So is rock climbing like your only thing that you want to achieve more in, or is there other sports that you want to get into?
I think pretty much just climbing. Yeah, that's kind of all I have going on. Athletic-wise, I'm not going to lie.
Now, have you ever been like to a point while you're climbing, you kind of froze because you're stuck or you got scared, or maybe that happened in the beginning when you started?
Even now, sometimes I won't like freeze to where I can't do anything, but I definitely can wimp out on certain moves. You're scared of them. So I try and not be scared of them and just, what's the worst that can happen usually? Not something too bad.
Honestly, I don't know how you do some of the moves you do on those videos. It's just crazy.
I haven't seen a whole lot of them yet, but I'm going to have to check those out. Like, I didn't realize there was moves.
Well, I didn't know either until I started watching the videos.
Are these like techniques that you use to advance or to climb down or something like that?
So certain moves in climbing will have like different names, basically, if they're really specific. So yeah, each like individual movement is a move on a boulder, if that makes sense.
Okay. Huh. So every time, I mean, obviously every time you do something that's a movement, but like if you had to tell someone a certain way to reach up to a spot on a rock, is there a name for what you're trying to tell them, kind of thing?
For a lot of moves, it's just simple, like lift your left hand up or your left arm up, what I mean, more to the left. But for other stuff, it's like to do the next move, you have to do a drop knee to set up for it, or a dyno, there's definitely terminology.
What I was asking. Cool, a dyno, that's an awesome name too.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, this is probably going to be the most stupid question ever, okay? So, I'm just saying, I have to ask you, because it's bugging me to this day. My ex-girlfriend, we were watching a movie, and there was a part of the movie scene where this guy was putting rocks in his hands because he was going to go longboarding down a hill. But it shows the scene of him putting the rocks in his hands and tying them there, because I think he was going to use it for, like, when he's gliding, he can use his hands to slow it down.
Okay.
But anyway, she was like, "Oh, I wonder if he's gonna go rock climbing." I was like, why would he put rocks in his hands to go rock climbing? And I think she tried to trick me for all these years, saying that rock climbers put rocks in their hands so they can like tell different sounds when they're using climbing a rock or something. Now, is that true in some type of way or anything?
No, she's definitely wrong.
Okay. That's what I wanted that on video. That's all I wanted.
You're stupid for believing it.
I didn't like believe it, but like she was just definite. You know how you like try to believe someone and you just tell them and they're like, "Fuck it, I believe it." That's me. Okay. But now I got the proof. I got it.
Okay, so but that begs the question: are there things that a lot of rock climbers do, maybe like that or not like that, but something like that? An everyday thing. If you're not at the gym or practicing, is there things that you have to do to kind of keep going with it, or?
I mean, it's a lot of like injury prevention exercises, but nothing that's like, putting rocks on your hands like that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I knew it was a stupid question, but I had to get it.
You don't get this opportunity all the time.
No, that's not. No.
In fact, in my entire life, I can only think of about 3 people I've ever spoken to that were really active rock climbers. Those 3 people absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But it's just not super common around here, and you'd think it would be. Have you ever been climbing in the Seattle area?
Or Washington
I have actually.
in general?
You guys have some pretty good outdoor climbing. And then you also have some really good indoor gyms as well. So
really,
well, there's a big one at Mount Vernon, but
okay, and there's REI down in Seattle. Yeah, we always drive by.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a big football fan? You like football?
No, I mean I don't really follow. Just from living in Arizona, I'm a Cardinals fan. Like I'm excited when they do well, but I don't follow it.
Jesse used to live in Arizona too, right?
No, not me.
Oh, I did.
You.
I did. I lived in Phoenix once, and then have you ever heard of the town Laughlin or Bullhead City?
Yes, I have.
I used to live in that crappy town for a little bit.
How did you end up there?
Just my parents moved me around a lot, so I went through like middle school there, and it was just always hot, nothing to do, getting into trouble.
They had to move every time he couldn't make friends at a new school, so it was constant.
Time for a new one.
My parents and my brother all just kind of moved down there within a year of each other, starting last year. So I got to visit down there with my girlfriend, and we drove the 4 hours out to the Grand Canyon. It's absolutely beautiful and amazing there, but it's so different than what we're used to here. We have such different weather, and it's colder and
always
just
raining.
Yeah, it's so different down there. It was amazing. It was December, and it was like 70 degrees out and sunny. I couldn't believe it.
I know our weather is truly something different down here.
Is there any rock climbing in the Grand Canyon or anything?
There is. I've never been to it. I don't think a ton of people do it.
Like because of difficulty, or is it just not really something people want to do? Or
I'm not so sure it's like the most solid climbing. And something in climbing called like chaussee, which means it either just like sucks, like it's a bad climb, which this isn't the case there, or like the first definition of chaussee was like it's more breakable. So I think that's kind of the thing down there is it's a little more breakable.
What's like the #1 most popular destination for rock climbing in the world?
I mean, right now I think it's South Africa. Everyone goes to this place called Rocklands for like months at a time.
Really?
I've watched videos where like people would camp up on the rock, right? They like sleep in tents in the air, right?
Yep.
Or something. Yeah, that's gotta be scary.
I know. I've never done it, and I don't think I ever will. It's very intimidating.
Now, where you live and the sport that you really enjoy keeps you in nature a lot. Are there creatures that maybe freak you out or scare you that sometimes make it difficult to travel or do what you love to do?
Ooh, I mean, I'm not really scared of any of the animals at this point because I grew up in North Scottsdale with like a lot of land around. So I've seen almost like every desert animal in the wild except for a mountain lion. But yeah, there's nothing I'm super scared of. Like I would really like to not get bitten by a rattlesnake. And I think the chances of that are really low. But, of course you hear stories where someone doesn't step on one or whatever, like just randomly happens.
So
that's my like very small fear.
If a spider dropped down and fell on you right now, would it freak you out? Because I would freak out.
I think like the shock of it would, but the spider itself wouldn't,
No.
See, that's why I would be a horrible climber. Is I'd be climbing along and then be like, I can't do this. There's a spider right there where I want to put my hand in. I would just be done.
That's exactly.
Sometimes that does happen though. You encounter like a little critter and usually you like if they see your hand coming, usually they move, but sometimes you kind of have to like poke them out of there or like blow on them.
Well, it's a good thing that you don't have any ridiculous phobias like I do then, because that would definitely complicate that for you.
Have you ever done any interviews or had to take pictures for like magazines and stuff like that?
I have, yeah.
You were on an Ask Men list, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah.
I didn't even know how I got on it, but I was one of the top 99 women of 2015. So
that's crazy.
And was that
Yeah.
like all celebrities and everybody? Like you were just one of the 100 best women on earth kind of thing? Or?
I think so. I mean, let's make it sound as best as we possibly can. But yeah, it was a list of like really accomplished women, so that was really cool to be included.
That is cool. And it sounds like they probably included you for the right reasons. Like it probably wasn't just because you're an attractive woman, it's because you actually do something with yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because I imagine that would be the kind of prize that would mean a little bit more to you, you know, to be on a list of people who actually do something instead of just popped out genetically, aesthetically pleasing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like vain compliments and I like compliments for, you know, accomplishments as well. So I guess
like
I'll
the
kind of
honesty.
take it either way. But
I like that honesty a lot.
Yeah.
Too many people act like if you give them a physical compliment that it's, you know, like immediately degrading. And I mean, there's a time and a place for it, but I imagine sometimes it's still nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just like anything in life, you know, like someone can walk up to you and say like, oh, you're so handsome or you're so beautiful. And it can come across as like very complimentary and genuine, you know, versus someone coming up and being like, God, you're so hot. You're like, you know.
Now that brings up a good question that I actually had earlier and I just didn't end up using, but it fits here. Now, you know, I've got a girlfriend, so I don't make a habit of going out and telling girls that they're beautiful or whatever. But for my boy Nick here, if he wanted to compliment a woman and not be creepy, is there language to leave out? Is there mannerisms that can make it come across creepy? Like, what's a nice way to just give someone a compliment these days and not be a weirdo?
I think one time I had some guy come up to me at dinner and he was like, hey, I just noticed you and I really wanted to come over and meet you. If you're not seeing anyone, I would love to take you out to dinner sometime. Like, so it came across as like very classy and just normal and also like respectful, like, you know.
Wasn't just like, man, you look good.
Let me ask this. Did it work? Yeah. Did he get your number?
He did, but I think I didn't save it in his phone on accident. It was purely accidental, which is like the funniest part of it.
You ghosted him.
The poor guy's probably like, what the heck happened? I'm like, I just don't know how to use an iPhone. That's what happened.
Yeah, iPhone sucks.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah, you use iPhone, huh?
Yes.
I'm thinking about getting a new phone, like Galaxy Note 10.
Nobody cares.
I know. I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, awesome. I'm so glad that you could come on and do this.
Yeah.
I think that we've covered all the questions that I originally had.
Do you have any questions?
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
None that I can think. Yeah, I'm like, you're putting me on the spot here.
Do you have anything that you want to plug? You know, like anywhere that people can see more about what you do or, you know, support your career in any way or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Check out the Instagram. It's at Sierra Blair-Coyle, no E at the end. And also, big thanks to my sponsors, Mammut, Ascend Cairo, and Kale and Clover. You guys are the best.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll throw up your info on the screen as you're saying that in the finished video and all that. So we'll definitely try and get you
all the links.
Yeah, all three of the people who watch us might end up following you too.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 more fans. I'll take it.
Well, Sierra, thank you so much. It's been a genuine treat to get to talk to you and get to know you a bit today.
Yeah, and that helps us.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
People better.
Yeah. We're still working that out. You know, we're not super good at it yet, but we'll get there.
I know.
All right, well, you guys are doing awesome.
Thank
you.
Thank Thanks for coming on and have a great rest of your day.
You too.